Right now, someone with less talent, less skill, and less intelligence than you is walking into rooms and taking everything you want. Not because they're better, because they're bolder. They don't hesitate. They don't ask permission. They don't apologize for existing. They act like they belong, and the world obeys. Meanwhile, you think, you plan, you wait for the right moment. You wait for the perfect time, the perfect word, the perfect feeling. And while you wait, someone else claims what should have been yours. This is the silent truth no one tells you. Confidence isn't a feeling, it's a weapon. And like every weapon, it can be learned, sharpened, and wielded. If you don't carry it, someone else will use it against you. Machiavelli knew this centuries ago. He understood that power doesn't belong to the most talented, it belongs to the most certain. The bold, the unflinching, the ones who act while others hesitate. This video isn't here to motivate you. It's not here to make you feel better. It's here to rewire you, to make you dangerous, not violent, but dangerous. Dangerous because you can no longer be controlled. Dangerous because hesitation is dead in you. Right now, the version of you that exists isn't weak by nature. It's weak by design. You've been trained for years to obey, to be polite, to be liked, to ask, "Is this okay?" That training wasn't an accident. It created a servant, a man conditioned to submit, to flinch a judgment, to wait for permission. That voice in your head, the one that hesitates, apologizes, and overthinks, is not you. It's a program. It's the inner servant. And until you kill it, you'll never be free. Machiavelli didn't whisper, he commanded. He didn't ask to be understood. He acted and let others catch up. He didn't ask for power, he seized it, because he knew that those who ask don't deserve. Your transformation starts with inversion. Every time you want to shrink, you expand. Every time you want to explain, you pause. Every time you want to apologize, you stare. Because dangerous confidence doesn't come from feeling ready. It comes from doing what the inner servant would never dare. From this moment forward, your weakness will no longer be tolerated. It will be replaced. This isn't self-help. This isn't motivation. This is training in psychological warfare. This is the process of erasing the servant inside you and awakening the ruler. You weren't born weak. You were born powerful. But power was taken from you by repetition, by rules, by people who benefited from your obedience. They rewarded you for being small, polite, and quiet. They punished you for being bold, certain, and decisive. They turned a predator into prey. Now you take it back. You start by adopting the mindset of the predator. The predator doesn't ask if it's allowed to hunt, it hunts. It doesn't explain itself, it doesn't apologize for taking up space. It moves slowly, deliberately, calmly, because predators don't sprint unless it's time to strike. That's who you must become. From now on, when you walk into a room, you don't look for permission. You don't glance around for approval. You observe, you absorb. You let others rush to prove themselves while you calculate. Your posture speaks before your mouth does. Your silence carries weight. Powerful men don't arrive loudly. They arrive with presence. Not through their voice, but through their stillness, their stare. You don't need to be known. You don't need to be liked. You just need the atmosphere to shift the moment you enter. That's how a man moves when he owns the room. Not because he's been told he does, but because he behaves like he always has. This is where you begin, right here, right now. Not with talk, with inversion, with action, with the killing of the servant. Because until you kill him, the world will keep treating you like one. This is not about confidence. This is about dominance. Mental, emotional, psychological. You are here to stop being shaped by others and start shaping the room. You are here to stop asking and start deciding. You are here to stop waiting to be chosen and start choosing yourself. This is the first command. Stop waiting. Start moving. Stop apologizing. Start declaring. Stop thinking like a guest. Start moving like a ruler. Because once you do, the world will stop seeing you as someone to manage and start seeing you as someone to fear. Words are not just sounds, they are weapons. And most men use them like dull, broken blades. Soft, hesitant, apologetic. You can hear it instantly. The nervous laughter, the filler words, I think, maybe, I don't know if this makes sense. That is not speech, that is self-sabotage. Machiavelli knew the truth. Power is not always in what you say, but in how you say it. The confident don't ask for space, they command it. They don't soften their words, they sharpen them. They don't speak to be liked, they speak to be obeyed. Understand this. People are not logical, they're emotional. They don't follow truth, they follow conviction. If you sound certain, they assume you are right. If you hesitate, they assume you're not worth listening to. So what does dangerous confidence sound like? It's slow, calm, final. You speak as if every sentence is a decree, not a suggestion. You speak as if your words are not open for debate. When you say something, you don't explain, you don't rush, you don't dilute. You leave silence after your words and let others squirm in it. That silence is power. The insecure rush to fill it. The ruler lets it linger, because silence after a strong statement dares people to challenge you, and most won't. Why? Because they fear what else you might say. Confidence at this level isn't about volume. It's about gravity, the invisible weight behind your tone. The assumption that when you speak, others should listen. Here's your first Machiavellian rule of speech. Sound like the end, not the beginning. Your words are conclusions, not guesses, not questions, not invitations. When you say something, it sounds finished, final, complete. The weak add escape hatches to their words. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong. I don't know if that makes sense. Burn those phrases. They signal that you don't believe yourself, and if you don't, why should anyone else? When you speak, you do so with cold certainty. No filler, no apologies, no disclaimers. Your tone tells the room that you've already made up your mind and that their agreement is irrelevant. They can align with you or they can move aside, but they cannot make you doubt. This is how rulers speak. This is how generals speak. This is how kings in exile sound before they take their throne back. And when someone challenges you, you don't argue, you don't defend, you don't explain. You simply redirect. That's incorrect. I disagree. And then you move on. Because the moment you argue, you lower yourself into the mud. You invite debate. You reveal insecurity. But when you refuse to justify, you send a far more dangerous message. Your reality is not up for negotiation. Now understand this. Tone is the true message. Words are surface level. Your tone, your calm, your groundedness, that's what communicates hierarchy. You want to rise? Lower your pitch, slow your tempo, remove nervous energy. Sound like a man who has nothing to prove and everything under control. Sound like someone who already knows the outcome and is simply stating it. That's how you bend people without raising your voice. Because you don't win conversations by being louder. You win them by sounding like someone who cannot be denied. And here's the secret. You don't need to speak often to be respected. In fact, the more you talk, the more chances you give others to decode you, challenge you, or stop fearing you. So speak less, mean more. When you do speak, cut softness like a surgeon's blade. Every sentence should land like a command, not arrogant, not emotional, but precise, final, cold. This is not arrogance, this is authority. The insecure chase agreement, the confident assumes it. The insecure try to be understood, the confident demand to be followed. The insecure speak to prove themselves, The confident speak to declare themselves. Machiavelli understood this in the courts of power. Sometimes the most dangerous man in the room wasn't the king, but the advisor who barely spoke, because when he finally did, the entire court leaned in. That's your model. Speak like someone who doesn't need attention, but commands it by the sheer weight of presence. Speak like someone who doesn't care if you agree, because eventually you will. From this moment forward, your words are not for validation, they are for direction. Not for permission, for command. Your voice is no longer a request, it is a verdict. And when the world hears you, it won't hear a man asking to be accepted. It will hear a ruler declaring what is. Before you speak, before you even move, the world has already decided who you are. Not through your words, but through your presence. That's why most men lose power before they open their mouths, because their body betrays them. Their shoulders curve, their eyes dart, their steps rush. Everything about them screams uncertainty. But presence is the first language of power. It's what Machiavelli observed in the courts of princes. The true rulers weren't always the ones with crowns. They were the ones who made the air heavier when they entered. Understand this. Presence is not built from arrogance or noise. It's built from calm control. When you move, you do it slowly, deliberately, as if time bends to your rhythm. You don't rush for anyone. You don't overreact. You conserve motion, because predators don't fidget. They wait. You walk with precision, straight posture, chin level, eyes focused, not scanning nervously, but observing. The room belongs to the one who looks least hurried. Why? Because speed signals fear. Stillness signals dominance. When you walk into a room, don't look for where to fit. Observe who needs to impress. The loudest man is rarely the strongest. The one desperate for attention is the one with none. You, on the other hand, are there to measure, to study, to decide who's useful, who's weak, and who needs to be ignored. That's the Machiavellian posture. Still, calculating, unreadable. You don't perform for the room. You let the room perform for you.
Most men fill silence with noise because they fear invisibility. But power doesn't fear being unseen. It uses invisibility as a weapon. The less predictable you are, the more others must guess. The more they guess, the more control you gain. Because uncertainty in others is leverage for you. That's how presence works. It's not about being the center of attention. It's about being the center of gravity. You don't chase energy, you create it. When you stand still, people feel it. When you move, they follow. This is what it means to own a room, not through words, but through energy. You can make people lower their voice without saying a thing. You can make them turn toward you just by existing differently. Machiavelli wrote that men judge more by their eyes than by their intelligence, because everyone can see, but few can think. That means your posture speaks louder than your logic ever will. If you look like authority, you are treated as authority. The world rarely checks credentials. It reacts to cues. That's why presence is everything. To build it, start eliminating weakness from your body language. Stop nodding excessively. Stop fidgeting. Stop adjusting your clothes mid-sentence. Those are signals of self-doubt. Move only when you intend to. Speak only when you decide to. Hold eye contact not to intimidate, but to declare that you have nothing to hide. And when someone speaks to you, don't rush to respond. Let their words land. Let silence stretch.
Watch how quickly they begin to fill it, revealing their insecurities. Most people cannot tolerate silence because it reminds them of their own uncertainty. You, however, are built to live inside it. This is what dangerous calm looks like. No reaction, no visible emotion, no rush to prove yourself. The world starts to realize something. It can't read you, and what it can't read, it fears. You don't need to be feared through aggression. You are feared through unpredictability. The calm, measured man is the most dangerous because no one knows what will move him and nothing appears to. Presence, then, is your silent armor. It's not a show, it's a signal. It tells the world you are not seeking approval, you are evaluating it. You are not trying to join, you are deciding who's worthy of your attention. When you sit, you don't lean forward eagerly. You recline slightly, controlled, as if comfort is your natural state. When you speak, you don't rush to finish your sentence. You let each word hang. You let silence work for you. Because silence is your new ally. It multiplies your impact without effort. And when people challenge you, you don't flinch. You don't justify. You don't raise your voice. You tilt your head slightly, let a pause linger, and then reply with calm finality. The tone that says, "You may speak, but I've already decided." That's how rulers operate, not through volume, but through gravity. So remember, power doesn't announce itself, it radiates. Confidence doesn't shout, it hums beneath the surface like a storm that hasn't yet begun. You're not here to convince, you're here to command, not through noise, but through inevitability. When you enter, the atmosphere should shift. When you leave, it should feel like oxygen just escaped the room. That's presence. That's control. That's the Machiavellian form of confidence, the kind that doesn't need recognition, because recognition is already assumed. From now on, move slowly, speak deliberately, observe constantly. Because while others compete to be seen, you're mastering the art of being felt. Confidence without control is decoration. You can walk tall, you can speak well, you can move like you own the room, but if anyone can still trigger you with a sentence, you are not powerful, you are exposed. This is where most men fail. They master posture, tone, and speech, but their emotions still belong to everyone else. One whisper of disrespect, and they react. One compliment, and they melt. One silence, and they spiral. That is not strength. That's dependency disguised as confidence. Machiavelli understood this better than anyone. In the courts of power, he didn't fear enemies, he feared dependency. He knew that the moment someone could move you emotionally, they owned a piece of you. And ownership is control. So here's your next evolution. You stop being the man who reacts, and you become the man who calculates. Someone insults you? Don't explain, don't defend, don't even show irritation. You observe. You extract data. What are they revealing about themselves? What do they want you to feel? Every insult is an admission of strategy, and every reaction is a surrender of power. Someone praises you? Don't glow, don't soften. You analyze. Why are they doing it now? What are they hoping to gain? Praise can be a leash disguised as kindness. Someone ignores you? Don't chase, don't crumble. You become even colder. Silence is not your wound, it's your weapon. The colder you become, the more their control evaporates.
This is the path toward becoming psychologically unreachable. Not emotionless, but untouchable. You still feel everything, but you show nothing. You respond only when it serves your outcome. Understand, emotions are data. They are not commands. Weak men obey emotions. Powerful men use them as coordinates. Anger, fuel. Fear, compass. Doubt, reminder. Nothing is wasted, but nothing is allowed to rule you. The world will constantly test you to see if you've mastered this. They'll insult you to get a reaction. They'll flatter you to gain favor. They'll ignore you to provoke insecurity. Every test has one goal: to pull you out of your center. Because the moment you react, they learn your trigger. And once they know your trigger, they can lead you by it. You must become unreadable. You must become boring to manipulators. That's how Machiavellian minds survive. They don't hide emotion, they withhold access. Your mind is not a public space, it's a fortress, and only you decide who enters. Every time you feel tempted to respond emotionally, remember this: the man who reacts first always loses. Because reaction is proof of control. Not yours, theirs. The next time someone provokes you, do this instead. Pause. Let them finish. Look them in the eye. Then simply say, "Noted." That word will terrify them more than 1,000 arguments. Because noted means you're observing, calculating, planning. It means you're operating from logic, not emotion. You are not here to fight petty battles. You're here to win wars. And wars are not won by emotional men. That's the Machiavellian code. You never show your strategy. You never show your need. You never show your reaction. The less they can read you, the more they fear you. To master this, train detachment daily. When someone disrespects you, ask yourself, what do they gain from my reaction? When someone praises you, ask, what do they gain from my gratitude? When someone leaves you, say, good, now I can observe their absence without distraction. This level of control doesn't make you cold, it makes you free. Because once you stop needing others to validate you, you stop being predictable. Once you stop being predictable, you become dangerous. The Machiavellian man is not moved by opinion, insult, or praise. He is moved by purpose. He knows that emotional dependency is the modern chain. The man who needs nothing cannot be manipulated. The man who seeks no approval cannot be rejected. The man who feels deeply but shows nothing cannot be controlled. And here's the truth. When you stop reacting, people panic. They'll push harder. They'll try to provoke. They'll accuse you of being detached, arrogant, heartless. Let them. Because what they're really saying is, you no longer dance when I pull the strings. Good. You're not a puppet. You are the puppeteer. This is your new form of power. Quiet, composed, unshakable. You no longer chase peace, you become it. You no longer demand respect, you command it through stillness. When your emotions serve your will instead of your weakness, you've entered a new tier of confidence. Not performative, not loud, but lethal. This is psychological sovereignty. The moment you achieve it, the world loses its grip on you. You are no longer part of the chaos. You are the calm center it orbits around. That is how a Machiavellian mind conquers without ever raising a sword. Rejection. The word that terrifies most men. The invisible knife that cuts deeper than failure. But Machiavelli would tell you, rejection isn't a wound, it's a revelation. Weak men take rejection personally. Strong men take it strategically. When someone rejects you, it's not because you're unworthy. It's because they believe they can survive without you. That's not an insult, it's information. It tells you where they stand. It tells you how little they understand your value. And when you understand that, rejection becomes your compass, not your coffin. The Machiavellian man never begs for access. He controls it. He doesn't wait to be chosen. He decides who's allowed near him. When someone turns you away, don't explain, don't plead, don't react. Withdraw. Not out of emotion, but out of strategy. Because absence is the most powerful form of presence. The moment something valuable disappears, its worth multiplies. When you vanish, you force them to feel your silence. The world begins to realize that your attention was a privilege, not a guarantee. That's when control shifts.
Machiavelli said it best. Men should be treated generously or destroyed, because they take revenge for slight injuries, but not for severe ones. So don't hurt your enemies. Make them irrelevant. Make your silence louder than your words. Let them wonder where you went, how far you've gone, and whether they ever truly knew you at all. You never lose from rejection. You gain clarity. You gain leverage. You gain an upgraded version of yourself that no longer asks twice. Here's the formula. Step 1. Never appear affected. The moment you show pain, they win. You're not reacting, you're recording. Every interaction is a test of your control. When they expect emotion, give them silence. When they expect sadness, give them stillness. Because silence doesn't mean defeat, it means you're planning. Step 2. Withdraw your presence like a weapon. You don't announce it, you don't dramatize it, you vanish. You let them feel what it's like to be cut off from your gravity. When you disappear without explanation, people realize what your presence was worth. That's psychological warfare without a word. Step 3. Reframe the story. You weren't rejected, you were redirected. You tested them, and they failed. You gave them a single opportunity to prove discernment, to recognize power. They didn't. That's not your loss, that's your filter working perfectly. Every no you receive is the universe cutting away distractions. Every door that shuts removes one more person who didn't deserve to stand beside you when the next one opens. Step 4. Convert rejection into control. Rejection is pure data. It reveals who can't see your value yet. It shows you where your image lacks gravity. Use it to refine your edge. Upgrade yourself until your absence becomes their regret. You don't chase them, you evolve beyond their reach. That's how control is gained, not through revenge, but through evolution. Revenge is emotional, evolution is permanent. The Machiavellian doesn't waste energy proving the world wrong. He simply becomes so undeniable that the world corrects itself. Step 5. Weaponize your comeback. You reappear only when your return disrupts equilibrium. When your success is so visible it can't be ignored. When those who doubted you now whisper your name in confusion, that's when you return, not with noise, not with spite, but with silence that says everything. You don't say, "Look what I've done." You let them say it for you. You don't seek recognition, you become the standard by which others are measured. This is your final transformation, no longer driven by the need to be accepted, but by the drive to become unreachable. Because the truly dangerous man isn't the one who shouts, threatens, or flaunts power. It's the one who needs nothing. You no longer need approval. You no longer need closure. You no longer need to explain yourself to anyone. The moment you stop needing, you start ruling. Rejection stops being an end and becomes an upgrade. You don't chase opportunities, you create them. You don't ask for access, you decide who gets it. You don't wait to be chosen, you choose. And that's when everything changes. Your silence speaks louder than persuasion. Your detachment draws more attention than desperation ever could. Your restraint becomes the thing people respect most. Because now when people deal with you, they sense something different, something they can't quite define. They feel the weight of a man who cannot be moved. That's not arrogance, that's mastery. The Machiavellian doesn't fight for power, he embodies it.
Not through chaos, but through control. Not through noise, but through certainty. This is the end of the servant, the end of the boy who waited to be seen, the death of hesitation, and the birth of a ruler. From this point forward, you will not chase approval. You will not explain your decisions. You will not apologize for taking up space. You will move with precision. You will speak with authority. And you will remain silent with purpose. Because the man who controls himself controls outcomes. The man who masters stillness becomes unstoppable. You are no longer waiting for permission. You are issuing decrees. You are no longer seeking comfort. You are building power. You are no longer reacting to the world. The world now reacts to you. That's what dangerous confidence is. Unreachable, unshakable, undeniable. So, listen carefully. From this point forward, you don't need to prove anything. You just need to become the proof. Walk into every room like it already belongs to you. Speak like every word you say carries weight. Move like the world adjusts to your pace. And when they question you, don't argue, don't explain. Simply smile and let silence finish the sentence. You're not here to be liked. You're here to be remembered. Because Machiavelli didn't write for the weak. He wrote for the few willing to rule themselves. This isn't motivation. This is transformation. This is war. And now, you are the weapon.